I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I will beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo, welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy Steven Moustaris coming at y'all like a Mike Perry bare knuckle straight to the teeth. And, guys, it's fight week. Let's just get straight into it. UFC 288 this weekend. I'm going to do a video for sure talking about some different fights that I'm excited for this weekend. And I'm definitely going to be doing a video kind of just talking how badass Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns are for stepping up and, pretty much saving this fight card. But, the one thing I definitely want to give respect to, and it should be talked about first, is this Aljamain Sterling Henry Cejudo fight. I feel like there's so many questions to be answered when it comes to this fight. And, honestly, to me, I kind of think there might be more answers or more questions to be answered for, Aljamain Sterling, if I'm being honest. And I know he's fought more recently and he's been doing the damn thing. But, if we're being honest here, guys, I feel like people are forgetting who Aljamain Sterling is, if we're being honest. I think, when I think of some of his, great fights, I'm thinking of the nasty quick finish of Corey Sandhagen, or the absolute just brutal dominations of, the Pedro Munoz and Jimmy Rivera's out there in the world. And, just the guy that's just out there, just outdoing everybody, just stand up, throwing some weird, awkward strikes, but then, doing enough to get you tired and then getting that back, taking you down and just wearing you down all night, either submitting you or, hitting you with some bows or whatever. Aljamain Sterling is phenomenal, man. And I think a lot of people are forgetting this just because of the whole Petr Yan fights. First fight, everybody knew Aljo was losing that fight, and he probably took the easy way out. And I don't want to say probably, he did take the easy way out. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure a knee like that hurts really bad, but I mean, that boy deserves an Oscar for how he was acting. So I don't blame him though. Saves his title picture, saves his, I don't want to say his career at all, because the man easily could have bounced back. Who knows what would have happened, but still, it definitely saves him at that time, at least one more title shot. He's technically the champion, so let's get into it. And, the second fight, there's still a lot of people think that, Petr Yan won that fight. I was really impressed with how good Aljo did look in the 3 rounds that he won. But, I also wouldn't have been mad either at Petr Yan winning. So it's one of them tough ones, but still, we can't be mad at these fighters for who the judges pick. So Aljo gets the dub. He goes on to fight a new guy, TJ Dillashaw. We're like, okay, he's super game. Let's get it. Let's see how this goes. And then, of course, TJ comes in with a blown out shoulder and, retires and everything. It looks just terrible. And it made Aljo look really, really good. But we all know, we saw that fight. TJ was fighting on one shoulder. So you can't blame Aljo again either. So, I feel like a lot of us are kind of forgetting, of how good this man actually can be and how dominant he really can be, because just of his last 3 years that we've been watching, it's just been 2 opponents, and it's been the struggle. It took him a whole year to come back after surgery and stuff to get that title shot. So, I remember I was one of the biggest fans of Aljo for 2015, 2016, all the way up until probably around the Petr Yan fights. And then, there's just, I don't want to say if it's a success that I don't like him, or I don't want to say like that, because I still like him. I still respect him, but he's just not one of my favorite fighters like he was. I was using that man on every UFC video game possible. You could not touch me with Aljamain Sterling for years now. And, no hate whatsoever. I'm happy for him, respect him and everything. But then we get to the Henry Cejudo part where it's okay, everybody knows he hasn't fought in 3 years. Maybe going on 4 at this rate. He knocked out Dominic Cruz in a very, very impressive fight. But it's there's still those questions out there it's already a built-in excuse for Henry. If Aljo goes out and dominates Henry, it's okay. Henry Cejudo kind of he had 3 years off. He just got married. He's been pretty heavy from what we've been seeing. He's been living the life, not really counting calories, probably eating pizza a lot, looking like a 180 or, 185 or something out here at this rate. But, the one thing that we can definitely know for sure is, I think this fight might be one of the more, I don't want to say for sure, but this fight might be one of the most underrated, title fights that we've had in years, man. Literally years. I think it might just be overlooked. I don't know if it's because of the 2 guys fighting. I don't know if it's the weight class. I don't know what it is. I know when we get smaller guys, especially 125, I don't know if you guys have seen, but this crazy stat where it's been 20 or 21 cards in a row now with no, 125 or, headlining or whatever. So it's pretty amazing. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the guys, just their previous whatever. But, man, this stylistic matchup is one of the crazier ones that we could honestly have. no offense to a lot of these guys, like Marab, we know their game plan. He's going to try to get you down. He's going to tire you the fuck out all day. Sugar Sean, we know the game plan. He's going to try to pick you apart on the ground or on the feet. A little the same with Corey Sandhagen, Cheeto, Rob Font. Like we know a lot of these guys' game plans. We've seen it. We've watched a lot of it. But when it comes to Cejudo and Aljo, just the way that they match up together, I really think this fight's going to be a lot different than what we're expecting. Like I don't know if people are expecting a ground game or, I don't know if people are expecting Sterling to come out here and really try to test Cejudo's ground game. I mean, the Olympic gold medalist that we all know. So I really think this fight's going to be standing a lot more than we expect, man. And I was trying to go back and rewatch some of their fights, maybe some similar stylistic matchups. And, as sad as it is, the only ones that I could even come up with for real, and it was for like Henry, the only like person that might even be close to like the submission artist or like the jiu-jitsu artist that, Aljamain Sterling would be is like a Wilson Hayes maybe, who was really, really, really good 125er. He was a little older when Cejudo got him, and we didn't even have to see anything because Cejudo knocked him out. So it was like, okay, what the heck then? And then maybe for Aljamain Sterling, Brett Johns maybe with the grappling of Cejudo. So it's like, and it's still not even on that level. But I mean, we go out there and we see what Cejudo or Aljamain does to those guys. So it's like, I don't know, man. I know we just got done watching Aljamain, fight Piotr Jan, and it was kind of impressive how Piotr really couldn't even get other than the first fight towards the end, he really wasn't being able to hit Aljo whatsoever. And I think Aljo's got that really awkward style that allows that. But don't be shocked at all if Cejudo's, starting to catch him a little bit. Because I'm telling you guys, it's probably going to be a lot more stand just because of the respect level. I think Cejudo, too. I think we've seen in Cejudo, he's proven it in his last, I don't know how many fights recently. Really, ever since the Mighty Mouse fights, when he realized he couldn't take Mighty Mouse down, he's really been working on the stand-up. And it's the same case that we always talk about. I think Cejudo has really fallen in love with his stand-up compared to what he was as a grappler. We see it all the time. These grapplers fall in love with their hands. And like we saw with Valentina, her downfall was her, we had a striker who was one of the best strikers ever fall in love with their grappling. So it's like, I really expect that. And I'm telling you guys now, I think this is just one of them toss-up ones. I just don't know who's going to win. I could see Cejudo doing it because let's be real here. Henry Cejudo has way more heart than Aljamain Sterling. It's been proven. Go back to honestly, one of my favorite performances of all time, and it's gutsy, and I don't even think he won the fight, was the second, the Cejudo versus Mighty Mouse fight. For fucking Cejudo's perennial nerve or whatever, we see in his ankle just get dead, they get that dead foot instantly within the first round, and to go on and to still fight and still win rounds. I mean, that shit was impressive, man. It's one of the most impressive displays of heart that you've ever seen. We saw Sean O'Malley to this day had that happen to him, and he's still talking about how that wasn't a real loss to Cheeto because of that. Oh, lucky, you know what I'm saying? But he's a dog. He didn't use that as an excuse and beat probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, MMA fighter of all time, pound for pound, number 2 for sure, and top 3, not even arguably. So that shit was impressive. And then he goes on that Marlon Moraes fight. Oh my God, that dude was getting. If you guys haven't watched that fight in a while, go back and watch that one because Henry was getting his face blown up by every single shot. Had him rocked. I don't know how many times. And I guess we can say Marlon Moraes has lost 6 times in a row. But I don't care who you are, to get rocked that bad in any fight and to come back and completely dominate the dude and finish him, just absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, we saw him get cut against Dominic Cruz. We see these fights happen where he's just got nothing but heart. And not to be funny here either, he's a Mexican. These Mexican fighters have that heart. So I got to give the heart factor to Cejudo over Sterling. And then the Sterling thing though is he's definitely a little more active. I don't know who I got the confidence level on either. Cejudo might be one of the most confident guys of all time. You beat Mighty Mouse and then go on up to another weight class, or not even before you can go to your weight class, knock out a TJ Dillashaw who comes down, not only finish him, but the dude was cheating and everything. So you beat him and then you go up and just absolutely take over that weight class. And then you feel like you're the GOAT. Nobody can beat you. So you retire. And it's here in the last 3 years, you see him tweet all the time about how he's not impressed with the weight class. So it's I swear Cejudo's confidence is going to be on an all-time high. Maybe a little bit of nerve since he hasn't fought in 3 years. So the ring rust might be a legitimate thing, and I think it should be. But at the same time, it's kind of the perfect fit because Aljo, Aljo is a great stand-up fighter. He's not a great stand-up fighter. That's wrong to say, but he is a good stand-up fighter. He's really good at mixing it all together, mixing all the arts together. So that's where he's really good. He's really good at making sure to not get hit. He's really good at throwing awkward punches and awkward kicks and things you don't see coming. So I don't think we're going to have to worry so much about him finishing Cejudo early with a big shot. But I'm just telling you guys, I think the hometown hero here, Sterling, I don't know, man. It's just one of the toughest ones. It's really tough. I'm probably not going to have a pick until later, closer to the week, but it's just a lot closer than what we expect. And it's one of them ones. It's so crazy. Both of these guys' styles match up so different, and I just don't know who's going to get it. So it's going to be a great one, and that's the thing it deserves. And I really think this might be one of the most underrated fighters or fights of all time that should have all the hype in the world. This is one of them fights right here, and another thing you guys should be ready for, if we're being honest as well, is be ready for the greatest of all time conversation when it comes to at least 135 for this. I was really thinking about it. Honestly, this is one of the only weight classes in the UFC that doesn't have an argued GOAT at all. You could have said maybe Renan Barrio there for a little bit, but then TJ Dillashaw absolutely smokes him twice in a row, smokes his ass, and then. What about TJ? But then he pops for drugs and everything. So it's what about that? And then it's okay, we come down to it. And if we consider, the WEC and everything into it, it's probably Dominic Cruz as much as we want to say. But, Aljo's already beat Dominic Cruz. It's to be fair, he finished him. It might have been a bad stoppage, whatever, if people still believe that. But guess what? He finished him. And, we saw Dominic Cruz get absolutely dominated by Cody Garbrandt. So it's be ready. Aljamain Sterling wins this fight. We're probably going to be arguing about a GOAT as Aljamain Sterling for real. And I don't think Cejudo has done quite enough yet to get that 135 GOAT. I think he's going to have to fight 2 or 3 more times at 135, especially defend the belt for me to completely take that over. But there is an argument if Cejudo wins where he's one of the greatest combat fighters of all time. He's already arguing about it, and it's really hard. It's really, honestly, if you hate Cejudo or not, it's really hard to sit here and kind of deny the fact that the guy's Olympic gold medalist in wrestling and then comes and becomes a 2-time division or literally a 2-division champion in the UFC. And I've been signing up forever. I want to see him become C4, or at least attempt it. I know Volkanovski's a dog, and we see what he did to Islam, but don't sleep on Cejudo, man. That dude is a straight-up competitor, guys. I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on this man. So I like to see greatness, man. And it would be really cool to see if he gets this win, to see him go up and fight 145. But be ready. He's going to be calling out GOAT and everything. And it's going to be kind of hard to deny him at least where he's coming from. He's literally done everything that he's ever, set out to do. So I don't know. I'm really fucking excited, guys, clearly. But, I just don't know who you guys got to win. It's probably easier to say Sterling since he's in his hometown. He's been more, consistent. He's been fighting more. He's been more active. He might have more tools in the bag to finish, Cejudo than Cejudo does, because Cejudo's not the greatest submission artist. He's definitely a great grappler and a great, controller, but he's also more so, like I said, he's been falling in love with his stand-up, dude. And I'm telling you guys, don't be shocked at all. We've seen Sterling get finished before, against a Marlon Moraes when, as funny as it is, I know MMA math doesn't matter at all, but Marlon Moraes' last really big win was Aljamain Sterling. And that was that one where he catches him with that. He went with a switch kick to the body, but it just timed up Sterling so well on the takedown that he just caught the knee and just out. One of the nastiest knockouts you'll see for real. And Sterling was out for a while. So it's the same way that Cejudo caught Cruz. So just be ready. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Cejudo's got something up the, just getting them knees up the middle and stuff. I wouldn't be shocked at something like that. Or I don't know. It's just a really tough one. And clearly I could also see Sterling somehow shocking the world and getting Cejudo's back and finishing him. And we're sitting here holy shit, Cejudo with the, the Olympic gold medals didn't look too good as soon as he got the backpack. So, I'm excited for this fight. And I hope you guys are too. And if you guys think this is underrated, let me know for real. So 135, man, absolutely fucking stacked. It doesn't matter what division we're looking at. Bellator, they're 135 stacked. I just talked about Rafion Stotts and Patchy Mix a couple weeks ago saying that everybody should watch that fight because it's one of them fights that nobody knows what's going to happen. And look what happened. Patchy Mix came out and finished him within seconds. So, Cejudo could do that to Sterling. Sterling could do that to Cejudo. This is why this fight's so exciting because I feel like it's one of them outcomes that nobody sees coming. And it's just one of those fights, one of them matchups. So, as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And let's go, baby. Have yourselves a good ass week.